In this video, we'll be learning about the measures of central tendency, the mean, the median, and the mode. So when we're looking at a new data set, one of the first things that we should try to do is describe and characterize our data. In a smaller data set, we might just be able to look at the data and draw some valid conclusions, but often, and especially in policing and crime work, data sets can be very large. So we'll need some convenient ways to summarize data so that we can understand it and communicate our conclusions to others without having to look at thousands or even millions of different values. In general, there's two ways that social scientists and pretty much everyone summarize data. First, we'll want to know something about the typical value that a variable takes on. So, what is the central tendency of the data? Second, we want to know something about how variable the data are, or how dispersed are the data around a measure of central tendency. This video will introduce you to each of these concepts and teach you how to make some key computations that are the basis of all statistics and data analysis from here. So, a measure of central tendency is a single value that attempts to summarize a variable by identifying the center of the distribution of the variable. Measures of central tendency are sometimes called measures of central location, and the mean, often called the average, is most likely the measure of central tendency that you're most familiar with, but there are others such as the median and the mode. The mean, median, and mode are all valid measures of central tendency, but under different conditions, some of these measures become more appropriate to use than others. We'll look at the mean, median, and mode, learn how to calculate them, and learn under what conditions they are most appropriate. The mode is the most frequent value that a given variable takes on. On a histogram or a bar chart, it's the highest or the biggest bar, and you can therefore consider the mode as being the most popular value in the data. Normally, the mode will be used with categorical data or nominal variables where we want to know which is the most common category. It is possible for a distribution to have more than one most popular or most common category, and these are known as bimodal distributions. The median represents the 50th percentile of a distribution, or the exact midpoint, or the central middle value. The median is the exact middle value of a set of data that has been arranged in order of magnitude. Because the median can only be computed by arranging values according to their magnitudes, it can only be computed when you have numerical data. So the median cannot be used as a measure of central tendency for categorical data, for example. One of the main characteristics of the median is that, unlike the mean, it is less affected by outliers, and it is often used if a distribution is skewed one way or another. Finally, we have the mean, which is probably the most popular and most well-known measure of central tendency. The mean is just the average value of a variable, and it's equal to the sum of all the observations divided by the sample size, or the number of observations that you have. The mean is, however, sensitive to more extreme values in the data, and so you do want to watch for outliers when you're using this. We'll be working with the mean a lot in some of our examples, and the mean or the average is really central to a lot of statistical concepts, so you'll be seeing and hearing a lot more about this one in some of the future videos. In summary, for our measures of central tendency in this short little summary video, for nominal data, you can only use the mode as a measure of central tendency to explore our variables. In ordinal data, generally the median is most sensible, but the mean can sometimes be okay to use too. You can definitely use the mean in the case where you have a scale variable and you have ordinal data. And finally, for continuous data, which is just pure numeric values that have a distance between them, that have or maybe don't have a true 0 point, the mean, the median, and the mode are all very useful, but you might prefer the median if the variables have a lot of extreme values. And we will be exploring these measures of central tendency in the following Excel and R application videos.